Today we're checking out this little amp by Sonicake to see if their take on the $70 15 watt amplifier is any better than anything else on the market. So you could say that this is a Sonic take. I just said that. So this little cool looking amp right here is called the Sonicake Sprint. It is not advertised as the Sprint from what I can tell. It's just advertised as a 15 watt amplifier, but it does say it right here. And underneath that it says QAM-15. So the 15 we know stands for 15 watts. And it also says it right here on the back of the amp. Now this video is sponsored by Sonicake. They did send this amp out for me to check out with you guys. So thank you very much, Sonicake. And if you want to check out any more information on this amp or pick one up for yourself, there are links down there in the description. So this is obviously a spin on something that you probably see all throughout Amazon, all throughout company like Sonicake's websites and things like that, and their other various stores. Little practice amps for beginners or people looking just to have a little practice amp kicking around. In my experience, these little amps can be very hit or miss. They can either be really, really good or really, really bad. So we're gonna take a look and see if Sonicake got it right. So first and foremost, let's just talk about the build quality real quick and kind of some of the features. So as you can tell, it is very small, it is very compact, it is very thin. It weighs just shy of 8 pounds, so it's not super duper heavy or anything, but it's got this nice little handle up here if you would like to carry it that way. It's got a fairly decently long cable where you can plug it into the wall, that kind of stuff. And then it's got this really nice aesthetic going to it. It says Sonicake right here on the front. I love the color, the kind of deep brown with like the off brown, brownish white kind of grill here with the kind of whitish, grayish looking thing up here. It looks rather retro and vintage, which is something that I always really, really like in the aesthetic of an amp. It just makes it look really cool and appealing. You do plug in your guitar right here. You have a gain knob, an OD button, because you do have 2 channels built into this, 3-band EQ, treble, middle, and bass right here. I did skip right over the volume knob, but we all know what a volume knob does. You do have an aux port here, a headphone port there, and then you turn the amp on by this power switch, which is conveniently located right over there. It seems like it's a solidly built little amplifier, but you're not here to know about the build quality of it. You want to hear what this thing sounds like and if it's worth your hard-earned money. So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to bother miking this thing up because the size of the speaker in here, it's rather small. Matter of fact, I don't even know what size speaker is in this thing. If I had to guess, maybe a 6-inch speaker, could even be an 8-inch speaker. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, there's really no point in miking it up. I will say this little thing right here gets very, very loud for the size of it. So just be aware of that if you do pick this up and plug it in, that even if you turn that volume up just a little bit, it will get very, very loud. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my shotgun mic, which just captures my room audio, which is actually right here this time. And we're just gonna kind of get some room noise out of it and see kind of what it sounds like, test how loud it gets, and give you a more general sense of what this thing sounds like in a room as opposed to a close mic. So here is the Sonicake Sprint. Clean channel, everything at 5 except for the volume. The volume is at 3 now. Dial up all of the bass. Darkens up pretty nicely. You dial up all of the mid. Okay. If you were to scoop all of the mid out, so take it down to 1. Something's going on with my guitar there, but not a bad sound if you scoop it all the way out. Let's scoop all of the treble out, so take all of the high end out. Not terrible. Let's put all of the treble in, so it's probably gonna make it really pokey. Yeah. So the EQ is pretty versatile, but because the speaker's so small, you know, it is what it is. Let's crank the gain all the way up. Still on the clean channel, all of the EQ back at noon. So you can hear it's very like ice picky. Not a great sound at all. Let's put the gain at 5. The volume will stay at 3. We're on the overdrive channel now. Everything except for the volume is at noon, 5. You might say, hey, did you actually engage the overdrive channel? I did. I know you can't see my face. Hello. But yes, I did. Like I said, the clean channel's got a bit of a breakup on it, so. But that is the overdrive channel. Let's crank the gain on it. Maybe you'll notice a little bit of a difference. I don't know. Very, very ice picky. Let's dial back all of the treble, see if that helps a little bit. It does tame it a little bit. Let's dial back some of the mid. It makes it better. Makes it a little bit better. Dial back some of the bass too. All right. So basically, if you take out all of the treble, some of the mid, some of the bass, it does get a pretty decent usable tone, I guess. Dial in some of the treble just to see. Yeah, so I would keep all of the treble out. I would put the mid at about 3. I'd put the bass at maybe 2 or 3, maybe a 2. Now this is with the gain all the way at 10. That's actually rather impressive, I guess. So if we dial it back to 5. And just back to the clean channel just to see. Yeah, so definitely take out all the treble, put the treble at 1, put the mid at about a 3 or a 4 maybe, depending on how spiky you want that tone, and put the bass at like a 2 or a 3. I have it on a 2, and I think that that sounds pretty decent. But you got to remember, this is like a $70, 15 watt amp with like a 5 or 6 inch speaker in it. So, you know, take that for what you will. It's not meant to sound massive and the greatest, but you tweak the tone a little bit. It's great for learning how to mess with an EQ and get something usable out of something like this. You are getting exactly what you pay for. So can you really complain all that much? Not really. You really can't, in my opinion. Does it generate a sound when you plug a guitar into it? Yes. Does it generate an appealing sound? That is subjective, but to me, I really don't care for it. It has its uses, I guess. The clean channels okay. It's got some edge of breakup on it kind of at all times. And then if you crank that volume or even the gain a little bit, it does kind of go into a distorted territory. And then when you hit the overdrive, it just kind of adds to that. But again, it's got its own sound. So it is, I guess, rather unique if I'm trying to make a positive spin out of it. But for me, this isn't something that I would really seek. There are better options out there for you to explore. If you want something really, really nice from Sonicake that makes a sound, check out the Pocket Master, because that is an absolutely fantastic product from Sonicake. And guess what, folks? It costs just as much as this. Doesn't have a speaker on it, but plug some headphones into it, and I promise you, you will love that so much more than this. So consider getting the Pocket Master. I do have a video on that if you want to check it out. It is on my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in on this video on the Sonicake Sprint amp, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.